Hi everyone, I'm teacher Cheryl and welcome to my channel. So in this set of videos, I'm showing you specific strategies on how to become a better reader. Reading skills are very important because they will help you a lot in reading comprehension. So in my last video, we focused on something called the critical reading technique, which is the PRIS strategy, and I'll just go through it very quickly. PRIS stands for preview, read, infer, and summarize. If you like a more detailed explanation of this technique, please watch my previous video and I'll leave a link in the description box for you. So in today's lesson, I'm going to focus more on how to improve your vocabulary. So like I said before, becoming a good reader is all about being able to understand what the text is all about. In order to do that, you need a wide range of vocabulary. If you don't have that, you won't be able to understand text. Also, when you have a wider range of vocabulary, you'll be able to apply them to your writing as well. I'd like to share with you a bit about myself as well. Growing up, I loved reading, but I was never really good at English because I was just reading very quickly and just understanding the gist of the story, but not really being very intentional with learning vocabulary. So when doing composition, I was always struggling with trying to find the right words to convey whatever I wanted to say. And it was quite ironic because a lot of my teachers kept telling me to read more and read more and read more, but I actually read a lot. I went through like 4 or 5 books in a week. I could be reading nonstop because I really did enjoy reading. However, as I said, I didn't actually intentionally learn the vocabulary, so I wasn't able to use any of the words or phrases that I came across in the stories that I was reading. So from there, I realized that I need to be very intentional in learning vocabulary. So that's what this lesson is all about, how to actually improve your vocabulary and be able to use them in your writing as well. In this lesson, we'll be looking at the same article that I looked at in the previous video, which is Exploding the Myths Behind K-pop from the Guardian article. There's a link in the description box if you would like to take a look at the entire article. Alternatively, you can download the shortened version of the article, which I have included. The link is also in the description box. So let's get on with today's lesson. So in today's lesson, we're going to look at how to improve your vocabulary. And I have actually shortened it into 3 very simple steps. In step 1, we have to understand the meaning of the text. So I'll show you an example later on what I mean by understand the meaning, but basically here it would be good to refer to dictionaries. If you don't have a physical one, there's so many online. There's Oxford Dictionary, there's Cambridge, there's Macmillan. I'll leave the links of some of those that I usually use in the description box as well. So going on to step 2, in step 2, what we need to do is analyze an example. So it's not just about understanding what the word or the phrase is all about. We need to look at examples because the examples show us how the word or the phrase is actually used in a sentence. Once we've done that, then we can go on to step 3, which is to write a sentence. What we need to do is to apply what we have learned into a sentence. This is a very crucial step that a lot of students actually miss out. In order to really fully understand and to remember the meaning of the word and how to use it, we need to practice applying it in our own sentences as well. Notice actually these 3 steps are pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, so let's take a look at an example. So step 1 is to understand the meaning. Before I go into my selected phrase, I'm just going to show you a very short summary of what the article is about. So the article is about the challenges faced by those who aspire to be a K-pop star. And the title of the article, as I mentioned before, is Exploding the Myths of K-pop. As I said before, this is a very long article. So what I have done is just picked one sentence out of this entire paragraph, and that's what we'll focus on today. Why I picked this sentence out is because many of my students during class, they were asking me, what does this phrase actually mean? So let me give you the sentence here. Who wouldn't want to be a part of this pop behemoth that has become South Korea's best-known cultural export? The phrase that I have picked is pop behemoth. Now you notice there are 2 words in this phrase, so we're going to break it down and try to understand what this phrase means. So I'll start off with the word pop. So what does pop actually mean? I've gone to Oxford and Cambridge online dictionaries and I found this. Pop actually means something that's connected with modern popular music. Now usually this is where people stop when they are looking at dictionary definitions. They just see the definition of the word and that's it. But if you haven't realized, the dictionary actually gives us so much information about each and every word. If you look further, we notice that pop is an adjective. If you can't remember what an adjective is, adjectives are words that describe nouns. And there's one more thing. Notice what it says here, only before noun. That means the word pop has to be used only before a noun. Okay, so that is pop. So let's look at the second word, behemoth. Now the dictionary actually gives us a couple of different meanings of the word behemoth. The first definition is a huge monstrous creature. So obviously, we're not talking about a monster or a creature in this situation because the entire context is all about K-pop and the music industry in K-pop. So I looked at the second definition and it says something that is very big and powerful, especially a company or organization. So this is something that's definitely more relevant to this particular context. So notice that behemoth is a noun, and nouns are words that tells us the name of things, places, people, or animals. So now that we understand the meaning of the word pop and behemoth, putting it together, we now understand that pop behemoth refers to probably a very big organization in the K-pop industry. So let's go on to step 2. Remember, step 2 is where we analyze an example. So going back to the sentence given in the text, it's always good to analyze how the word is used in that particular sentence as well. So notice how the word that comes before pop behemoth is the word this. So this is something that we call a determiner. Determiners are words like the, this, and that. Going back to the dictionary page again, let's look at some examples there. You will notice that there are quite a number of examples here. If you can see, a pop song, a pop star. Notice that all these phrases start with a determiner, either a or the, and the next word that comes after it is pop. So therefore, we know that we need to use a determiner, either a, the, or this, or that, before the word pop. Then the next word that comes after pop is a noun. So for example, a pop song, a pop star or singer, a pop band or group, a pop concert, or the pop charts. So we can kind of see that structure of how we have to use the phrase in a sentence already. So now let's take a look at the word behemoth. Look at the examples given there. A multinational corporate behemoth. Again, it starts with the a. She works in a 70-story behemoth in Manhattan. So again, they start off with a determiner. After the determiner, there's an adjective. So a multinational corporate is your adjective. 70-story, so 70-story is your adjective as well. And then finally, we have the word behemoth. So a multinational corporate behemoth or a 70-story behemoth. So again, you see it's a similar structure. So we can kind of develop a formula based on this, right? We need to have a determiner first. After the determiner, we have the adjective, which in this situation, we are focusing on the word pop, and we have a noun, which again, in this situation, we are focusing on the word behemoth. So we have determiner, adjective, and noun. Now that we know how to use the phrase in a sentence, we are going to go on to step 3. So in step 3, remember I said we have to try to apply what we've learned and actually write a sentence ourselves. Now, before we write the sentence, let's consolidate everything that we know. So we know that pop means popular music. We know that behemoth refers to a huge or powerful organization. And as I mentioned before, pop and behemoth, when put together, probably refers to a huge organization in the pop music industry, specifically K-pop for this particular article. And we also know the structure where we need to use a determiner, an adjective, and a noun. What I'd like you to do now is to pause the video and make your own sentence using the phrase pop behemoth. Once you've done that, share your sentence with me in the comments box below. Okay, so I hope you've done that. Now I'm going to show you my sentence. It is, the Disney Music Group is a pop behemoth that hires many aspiring youths to become famous singers such as Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez. Now I realize that pop behemoth specifically refers to the pop industry, and in writing there are many different topics to write about, and we won't be writing about the pop industry all the time. So sometimes we will need to adapt the phrase to the topic of our writing. So take a look at my second example. During the COVID pandemic, many people had become more loyal to their local shops rather than support a faceless behemoth. So notice how now I have changed the situation to the COVID pandemic, and I'm talking about shops rather than the music industry. But I've used the same structure that we looked at before. So I started off with the determiner, a, and then an adjective, faceless, and then finally the noun, behemoth. So a faceless behemoth. So you see how you can actually adapt a word or phrase to whatever sentence and context that you're writing about. Okay, so those are the 3 steps, the MEW. M for understand the meaning, E for analyze an example, and W for write a sentence. Now, what should you do next? I'd like you to look for more words or phrases in this particular article that you don't understand and apply the 3 new steps. After you've done that, share your words, meanings, your sentences in the comments box below as well. Now, don't forget, you don't need to just restrict yourself to this particular article, but whatever text that you are reading, it could be a storybook, it could be a news article, it could even be a comic book that you're reading, where you come across a word or phrase that you find interesting or you don't understand. So remember, we need to be very intentional in learning vocabulary so that it can actually help us to remember the words that we come across. And also, we can learn how to use them in our writing. So this is a very simple yet important strategy that you can use to help you improve your overall vocabulary. So that's it for this video. If you found it useful, please like and also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one. Bye.